Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to welcome you to our Hylo community event, April edition. The intention is for us to come together, meet each other, and learn how we can support you. Today, we are going to go on a journey, and we'll hear from the Hylo team on our 5 to 10 year vision, and then we'll dive right in. But first, I want to know how you are feeling today. One word. How are you feeling today? In the chat. Grateful. Yay. Inspired, hungry. Love that. Happy and ready. Yay. These are amazing. Love it. Beautiful. Well, so we thought we'll do, as per usual, our 1 minute dance off video and dancing like nobody's watching. And so I'm just going to play the music and I'm going to invite you to stand up, or if you can't, you can sit down and just move. Again, just dance like nobody's watching. All right, let's go. Doesn't this feel so much better? Welcome back. And welcome to the new arrivals. We're so happy you're here. We have so many incredible people joining us today from around the world. And I know how many of you know each other? I'm curious, just show of hands, like how many of you have met one another? No, not yet. Okay. All right. Well, we will, that will change in these monthly calls. But before we dive in, I would love to invite the Hylo team, Tibet, Claire, to share about the Hylo vision. You know, what do you envision 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What is happening on Hylo?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Many familiar faces, but also some new folks. I'm one of the stewards of Hylo, lead developer, and part of the Terran Collective. We've been stewarding the Hylo platform since, 2020 now. Myself and Claire and Krisha here, and a couple other folks. So, I mean, many of you have probably heard the Hylo vision. If you haven't actually seen the new website, I would really encourage you. We finally released a new website a couple of weeks ago, and it really tells the story quite well. Maybe I'll share parts of it now while I'm talking. Oh, Yasmine, can you give me a screen sharing ability?
Absolutely. 1 second. Make go for it.
Yeah, so Hylo we call a pro-social coordination platform for purpose-driven groups and place-based groups, and there's a lot of different pieces that we can unpack a little bit in there. But just to share from a high level, we really believe that culture and technology are called co-evolutionary. They have a huge impact on each other. A lot of our civilization and how our culture is today has been created in this co-evolutionary process with the technologies we're using. And so right now, a lot of the digital tools for coordination and collaboration are not, we don't see them as being beneficial to our world and to our society. They're causing, there's so many beautiful things they do in connecting us and allowing us to organize, but many of the bigger platforms are directly tied to what we might call the poly crisis that we're seeing in our planet today, and are causing distrust and more polarization and mental health issues. And so we're really trying to do something different here with Hylo. And so, that starts with Hylo being open source and nonprofit and having different incentive models. And then, just in terms of how we're designing it, we see this word pro-social a lot on our platform. We're really trying to think about how can we design a platform that over time increases cooperation and increases the well-being of the people and the groups using it. And it's based, there's pro-social principles that we're working with this group called Pro-Social World that's developed these principles based on the work of Eleanor Ostrom, which showed how groups could successfully cooperate to manage common resources together. And so we're just starting to see some of the fruits of this thinking and this work come into Hylo. You'll see a lot more of that this year. We just rolled out group agreements to help groups establish their shared identity and purpose. We're rolling out much more sophisticated roles and responsibilities soon. Proposals are coming very soon for collective governance. We're about to roll out a collective moderation system to kind of appropriately respond to bad behavior in groups and implement graduated sanctions. So really thinking deeply about how to, again, support groups in being more cooperative and increase the well-being of everyone using them over time. Another really unique, beautiful aspect of Hylo is the ability for groups to collaborate and coordinate with each other. And this happens through our infinite nesting of groups and the ability to cross-post to multiple groups at the same time. So that allows for networks and alliances to form. And so one of our taglines is Hylo is not another silo, it's Hylo. And part of that is the ability for groups to connect. Another part of that is it being open source and the way that we're trying to collectively steward it and figure out kind of in the long term how it can become a technology commons and really be kind of a public good. And kind of I think the final piece I want to mention, I'll move back to the homepage here, is really the bigger, one of the biggest pieces of our long-term vision is bioregional coordination. And so we're really passionate. We believe that the change we need to see in our world, so much of it has to happen locally. Ecological restoration and increasing biodiversity and sort of healing our landscapes happens in place with the people that we are around and the ecological landscape that we are sharing. And so we have this vision of how do we bring together the people of a bioregion, these kind of ecological and cultural boundaries that are natural ways to coordinate, to make decisions together about how to share common resources and be a good steward of their area. And so, ultimately, we see Hylo being a part of this bigger vision of how we regenerate our planet and heal our communities and kind of come together to do the work that needs to happen to heal and be good stewards of this place together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tibet. Incredible. And with that, I would love to pass it on to Claire, who's going to highlight one of our communities on Hylo.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. I'm Claire. I'm on the Hylo team, and we're going to do a Hylo Community Spotlight, which is something that we're going to be doing every month going forward. And today, I'm going to spotlight the Collaborative Technology Alliance, and we're going to hear from one of the stewards, Tibet. But actually, there's probably a bunch of members of the CTA on this call. Can folks who are also a member of the CTA raise their hands? Yeah, amazing. Yes. I'll just share my screen for just a sec for those who are not members of it. The Collaborative Technology Alliance is on Hylo, and they have almost 700 members. So it's a pretty big group, and they're using it for all kinds of good things. Very active. And yeah, I just wanted to give a quick look, but I'll just say a few words about what they're doing, and then I'm going to interview Tibet briefly. So the purpose of the CTA is to facilitate collaboration among those building social technology in service to a thriving world. And they envision the future of the social web as an ecosystem of tools where people can be hosting their communities, their guilds, and their groups, moving around, sharing resources, sense making, and collaborating at scale. And it is a way for the commons to rise and distribute resources around the world rather than concentrating groups and resources in just one platform. And the group is dedicated to having more collaboration among the platform builders and creating interoperability between them. So welcome, Tibet, a steward of the CTA. And I know it's stewarded by a number of amazing humans. So just a few questions for you, Tibet. How how does your group use Hylo to advance this purpose?
Cool. Well, there's a little bit of a last minute switch since we had another group lined up that couldn't present today. So, but I'm excited to talk about the CTA, and also Kayala is here, who's another one of the core stewards. So, Kayala, if you want to like pipe in at any moment, great. So, yeah, I mean, the Collaborative Technology Alliance is a really interesting story, because just to give a little bit of background, it was actually also co-founded by the original founder of Hylo, and a bunch of other platforms many years ago. And then when Terran Collective took over Hylo, we kind of rebooted it back in 2021, because again, we don't see Hylo succeeding as a silo. And so we wanted to find other technologists, other folks thinking about building different types of social tools who have similar values, and see if we could weave together and work on interoperability, and collaborate on our shared goals. Okay, sorry, what was the question again, Claire?
How do you use Hylo to advance your purpose?
Thanks. I mean, Hylo is our main digital home. There is a group of like kind of core stewards who run the community calls and are trying to like think through like, okay, how can this alliance grow and flourish? What does that mean? But we're not very actively stewarding the community right now, I would say. It's a pretty decentralized, place where all different folks working on these ideas come and share their projects and share their asks and offers. We do keep our events calendar there. I will say that we had a interesting, really active engagement last year. That was our first collabathon, where we were kind of distributing a pool of money to projects within the Collaborative Technology Alliance using a kind of collaborative participatory budgeting process, which was really, really interesting. And so in that case, we were using Hylo for tracking the various projects that had been submitted themselves to the community, and keeping track of the various events and calls we were doing. Soon, once we have the proposals features built, we could have actually used it to do the kind of voting stuff that we did at the end of that process to actually decide how to distribute the money. But it's our digital home.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Would anyone else from the CTA, such as Kayala or Todd or others, want to make a brief comment about what it's been like using Hylo?
I can share briefly. I was going to mention the Collabathon also as one of the opportunities where we had a lot of discussions and posts. We definitely used the different types of posts, events and resources as well. So I wanted to highlight that point. And then I guess since the group has existed, so the Hylo group has existed for a long arc, and it actually creates some of the continuity of the story of the CTA as well. So I think that's another aspect of just how it's anchored in time and space. And then the other thing, particularly, that the ability to post things that are visible in other spaces is exhibited through the CTA as well. There's a lot of overlapping engagement, so in different groups that are also part of the CTA. So those are a couple of the ways that I use Hylo.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Well, that is our spotlight for today, and we have some lined up for the coming months, but I know that Yasmine is also going to be sharing a post soon for folks to nominate communities you want to spotlight and even vote on what communities you most want to hear from. So stay tuned for that. Back to you, Yasmine.
Thank you, Claire. Well, I am super excited because now that we've had a little taste of what's going on on Hylo, we want to know what's going on for you. And so this next, I'd say 25 to 30 minutes, we're actually going to go into different breakout rooms, and we'll have roughly about 3 to 5 people per room. And really the intention is for us as a community to start to learn from each other. You know, how is your community going on Hylo? Whether you are leading a community or are part of an existing community, we want to know, we want you to discuss amongst yourself, what are some of the challenges or successes that you've experienced, and what advice that you have or questions for one another. And so these are some prompts. Of course, feel free to follow the rules or break the rules. We like that. But those are just some initial questions to get you going in your holons. And so we will be posting, actually, I'll go ahead and post these questions here in the chat. And we'll spend about 30 minutes in each of the group. And then we'll come back together and learn, kind of mine some of the insights that you have engaged on during your group. How does that sound for everyone? Give me a thumbs up. Yay, awesome. So I'm gonna invite you to just copy and paste these questions in the chat. I'll also post it as a broadcast while you're together. So on the count of 3, we're gonna go and break into our holons, and then we'll come back together in about 25 minutes or so. All right, let's go. Countdown begins. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Open our rooms. Okay. We'll see you soon. Resume. Awesome. So the prompt is the following. Whether you have a community that you're leading or are part of on Hylo, we're just curious to know what are some of the challenges, successes, advice, questions that you have. We're just kind of like sharing ideas and insights. So that's what this purpose of this breakout room is. So I'd love to hear from you.
I have some things, but Heather, do you have anything coming along for you?
Sure. So I have some things too. Okay, so Hylo, we're a new community activist group in Beaver Valley in Ontario, trying to save the valley and the river from developers. And that's the short story, but there's a longer one. And Hylo, we set up the platform. We're marketing it to over 40 groups in the community. And my challenge is we want the groups to join Hylo, Yasmine, like to be a group in our family of Beaver Valley Destination Stewardship. And so I'm having one-on-one meetings, talking to them, kind of like selling the idea so that they join, but then they don't want their group to join because they have to get approval. They have to get everyone's consensus in their, environmental group that's a part of all of us trying to save the river and the valley. I was wondering if people are having the same challenge so I'm doing one-on-one meetings on Zoom. Sometimes we go and meet with them in person and I train them, and then still it takes months or weeks. And some people have said no, which I understand. So that's me. That's
Absolutely. I'm wondering, that's a really good, I'm pretty sure that's common. And when we come back together as a group, we'll share kind of what we've uncovered during these groups.
Yeah.
My immediate response is like, definitely, that is very common, especially with a new platform and a new community, that people are sometimes have like a resistance level. But one idea is to bring them all together on a community call, similar to what we're doing on Hylo, and see kind of like how that sparks curiosity and interest to then want to continue these conversations and supporting one another. So just like a little insight.
Just so like talk about the collaboration that comes from Hylo, the principles behind it, how it can feed their vision, right?
Exactly.
Of what the value. Because I was doing mini training sessions Monday nights, 6 to 6:40, 6 to 6:15, no, 6 to 7, whatever. And at first there's 10 communities, and now no one shows up. I sit there, but I think your point is education. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
education and also like, technology as a tool, not as the end goal. It is
Right.
about people, it's about the community members, it's about the mission, the vision, right, and the values. And so I think once they start to see the incredible people in the community, then automatically there's going to be like, I'll use whatever platform to stay engaged with this group. And so that's
Okay.
what we introduce
Great.
Hylo as a
And
platform.
I will share that 4 groups have come on board, and they're like the seeds that have been planted, influencing others. We're leaning on them to influence the others. So thank you. That was
I love
sorry.
like the organic kind of
Yeah.
mouth effect. Love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's my feedback. Did we lose the other person? I don't
We did
see
lose
them.
him, but that's okay. I'm just gonna make a broadcast note to everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
who's
They're
coming.
coming. I think he
I'm
got
so-
invited to a room because I got a message from Tibet saying join a room, and I said not now, but maybe he got invited to a room. What do you think?
Oh, he did. Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So it's just you and me. Sorry. Do you want to focus on just the rooms? It's okay if we don't speak, or do you need to?
Let me
Yeah. Because I know it's time sensitive. I used to do that on Zoom calls, like big
Yes.
conferences, and it's a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm actually really curious to learn more about the work that, we have like 5 more minutes, so
Oh, okay.
tell me more. I'm here.
Yeah.
So
So, destination stewardship is a principle from Washington. National Geographic started it over 20 years ago, and you might know this. And the center is in Washington, D.C., but they have influenced the world in sending their principles and practices around the world, using ambassadors from Washington to travel and teach communities. And so someone came to our valley last April, and it changed my life. I was at the back of the room. There was nowhere to sit. It was burgeoning with people, bursting, very worried about the river and the valley. And then this is what's happened a year later. We're actually an entity. We won a grant even recently, a small one, but a big one in the sense that we're all going to be educated on how to be better destination stewards to protect for good tourism, not negative tourism. And we're being taught, we're going to Newfoundland and Canada as a group. We won a grant, all of us, to go soon in 2 weeks to learn how to do sustainable tourism to Grossmore National Park that was going to be overtaken by developers 30 years ago, and it's pristine. So they're teaching communities how to do that. So that's the background that changed many of our core group lives. There's 8 of us right now, but we have 40 groups that we're influencing. We do presentations once a month. 70 people came to the last one, believe it or not, last Monday. Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. Wow.
And 15 on Zoom. So we have a Zoom with a camera, and then we have tables. Like, it's at community halls. Picture these little rural community halls,
Yeah. Where is it
yeah,
based?
we're excited.
Where is it? Where are you based?
An hour and 2 hours from Toronto in Canada, north. And if you want to research it off this meeting, it's called Beaver Valley, and on Instagram, the beautiful Beaver Valley. And
Beautiful.
then on LinkedIn, I'm running the page called Beaver Valley Destination Stewardship, but we're new. We have so much to do. And some people are completely, when I listen to the challenges of communities that are divided, this is what's happening, right? We have different ideas, and then some people are upset and some are happy. That's inevitable.
Absolutely. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations on the grant. So 2 weeks,
Yeah.
2 weeks heading off. So will you be dealing with more community stewards working on the same mission from, I imagine, around the world?
It's called Grossmore. I'll send you the link. It's called Grossmore Institute of Sustainable Tourism, and it's connected to a university called St. FX in Nova Scotia. So it is accredited, and 45 communities applied, and only 6 got in. And 8 got accepted. We're the only one from Ontario. And our story it was so compelling. They chose our little team and they came to our community, and we interviewed. We did a big community meeting and did interviewing for 3 hours, including a long table lunch, community lunch. Farmers, everyone came, and we broke out into groups to tell stories. It's called asset-based interviewing. You probably heard of it, where you get people to talk about stories instead of analyzing them too much. Why do they love the river? Why do they love the valley? What's their history? What are they worried about? And then we captured all of that. And we have 1 year to do a project now. Because it's a grant there, we have to produce something. And we're going to Newfoundland in 2 weeks to decide what will we do in our community in 1 year that will make a difference. It might just be better signage on not how to ruin the land, like where to walk versus we haven't decided yet, but there's a lot of work to be done. And then developers are helicoptering around and they want to build 380 homes, Yasmine, right on the river. And there's nothing there right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful river with trout and salmon, nothing around, and 380 homes. So that was announced on Monday. Everyone's freaking out.
Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
There's urgency, but it's good work. And
Well, let us know how we can support
okay,
if
so you
it's a
probably
petition
want,
that
yeah.
you're going to sign, or I'm also going to send you I imagine that you're part of the community organizers Hylo group,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So make sure you post there and update us on the progress, because
Okay.
I've never seen a community as alive as the community organizers group on Hylo. It's amazing.
Oh, good. Yeah. I need some ideas.
Right. We're here for it. That is exactly the purpose of Hylo in this community. So I'm gonna start bringing
Yeah.
everyone back.
Yeah,
So
okay. Thanks, Yasmine.
of course. Sure that your conversations were so filled with insights and wisdom and knowledge, and we can't wait to hear. So before we actually have a few people share, we're going to take a minute and just take it all in, write down in the chat what is something that really struck you, that was like an aha moment in your chat, and then we're going to all share so we can mine all the wisdom in one place. So we'll do 60 seconds and we'll dive back in.
Yasmine, did you want them all at once or did you want them to trickle in?
It's always better when it's all at once, because then they trickle in and it feels like, oh my God, so many gifts from the universe all at once. I love that. Yes. 20 more seconds. And go. I love that. Amazing. Well, I actually would love to hear a few voices, something that you learned or something that struck you in your conversations. I can just briefly tell you, like just talking to Heather in our chat, like just the amount of passion and mission and values alignment is just incredible. Like working on the rivers in Canada and across the world, and just so a reminder of how incredible this community is, the Hylo community and all the communities within Hylo. I'm just awestruck every time, by every conversation I'm having. So I would love to hear from a few of you what was a surprise or something that you learned that you want to share with the whole group. And don't be shy.
Well, my problem isn't shyness, it's not shutting up. So it's always wonderful to meet folks like yourselves because it's expected that we are of the same mind, but it is special when there is so much overlap. There is so much recognition, and it's like, yeah, of course, I know what you're talking about, because we're all seeing and hearing and thinking about the same things, and it's nice to show up to a place that has so much familiarity, even with people you've never met before. So I love that.
Thank you, Jose. It's beautiful. Anyone else?
I have a really strong sense that we're making community in the moment.
That is quite beautiful and true.
I think that one thing that I'm learning from a session a week ago and today is that Hylo has a huge potential, and that it's still obviously in development. And this is one thing I'm learning, but that Hylo has some really good people that not only each of you, but also in its membership that are really dedicated to a higher level of collaboration and connection, community, as Miri just said. And it's very impressive, and I'm eager to engage in it. I have just one more thought that briefly to share, a question really. As a newcomer and with a new organization, Communities of Light, that is still in development, I put a lot of work into developing a community, but I don't have as much time to put into developing, understanding the methodology and the approach to Hylo. And I'm wondering, I think somebody else actually also said, are there tutorials? But I take it one step further. Are there consultants yet in Hylo that can say, okay, I can work with you for 4 hours, let's go through it, pay me, whatever it might be, but that would be such a beautiful shortcut, for me, that in fact, instead of searching all over the place, they understand in 30 minutes what I'm doing and say, here's your approach, try this, this, this. So that's a question. Is that available, or will it be? Claire, you say yes?
Yes, I can speak to that. And I'm sure that, so first of all, Krisha creates amazing videos and guides. So those are available. I'm sure she's going to drop some links. So we have documentation, and we have a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel, and we're always adding more. So there is a whole resource base. Absolutely. And then we also do have a program we call Community Stewardship as a Service. And we do help communities on Hylo succeed in their community building. And there's a variety of ways to work with us on that. I'll pull up a link in a moment. But it's anything from just like onboarding support to help you get situated, to like ongoing, really in-depth partnership on stewarding communities. So there's a number of groups we're working with in that capacity, and that we have worked with over the last few years. It's super enriching for us, and we just keep learning more and more about what works and what doesn't. So we are totally available for that kind of thing. And Krisha and I are putting the finishing touches on a course about community stewardship. So I'm really, really excited we will be sharing that in the coming few months. And that some of it is about like how to do these things on Hylo, but most of it is just how to do these things in any context, because community stewardship is just such a skill set for our time. Yeah, so thanks for asking.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire. And I was actually also talking to Heather about just the power of community building in having just bringing your group together on a virtual Zoom once a month, and having that frequency really does build community, and then kind of directing them into your group on Hylo as a continuation, as a tool. Technology is a tool to enable these conversations and these collaborations and mutual support to happen. And so just pop up a Zoom link, and happy to help also think through the flow. I've been doing this for, I think, 100 years at the very least, bringing people together around the world. So I'd be happy to also support on that front as well. And so anyone else would like to share reflections, words, insights, aha moments that they've had? We'll take one more, and then we'll start closing our circle for today. Claire.
Okay, I'll go. I was in a group with some people who are really, like, I consider core members of a community that I've been following for a long time. And this community had a really big leadership transition that's still kind of ongoing. And I really appreciated their shares, because it just really brought up how communities have like a lifetime, and like they start and they grow, and then there might be times when a community ends, and that's really just like part of life. And that can be, I think it would be really interesting in our respective communities to like look ahead towards that future. Like, is there a time when this community will end, or when it has achieved its purpose and we complete it? Or, what happens if there's a transition? What would we do? What could possibly happen here? And just like being aware that that is part of it too. Yeah, what does it look like if a community like replicates or reproduces and like spins off new life? There's just all kinds of things that can happen, because a community is a living thing. And yeah, being able to hold that with my group was really powerful.
I love that. Thank you, Claire. That's beautiful. And so much nature teaches us, like such a mirror, because that's how plants or gardens work, and different living systems. And so I never thought about it that way. So I sometimes feel sad when a community ends, or like there's nothing happening. I'm like, come on, let's relive it, and you're right. Sometimes the purpose has been achieved, and people spin off into different things. So I love that. So death date, cool. I'll have to check it out, Tibet. Thank you for sharing that. So if you haven't joined Hylo, I believe you all are on there already, but this is the Building Hylo community, which is really a group that is contributing code and ideas, insights, and how we can make it better. If you are a community leader or have a group and want to join the community organizers group, this is the link for it. Let's see, I'm going to put it in the chat. And the final, I guess, thing I want to share is our next community call is happening May 23rd at 3 p.m. PST. So we're trying to alternate time so we can have people from different time zones and be aware of just the spectrum of our planet. This is the link for next May. And since we have 7 more minutes, I would love to invite any of you, if they want to talk a little bit about what's happening in their community. What are some exciting updates, progress, grants, project that you're working on, so that we can all learn and see how we can support each other. So, and one of my mentors always told me, if you don't share what you do, then nobody's going to help you. So you have to be bold in sharing your dream and your vision, because that's how you catalyze support and ideas. So.
All right, I'll be bold. Hello. Thank you for everything, everyone here. You're all very inspiring, and I hope to meet you all individually. I just want to share, I did in our small group that Schumacher College, based in Devon, England, is like an ecological, environmental justice focused college. And we have a global network with a lot of legacy projects. And we just recently moved our global Schumacher network to Hylo in order to better see ourselves and map it. And we're in the process of that engagement. And it's just been very exciting and encouraging, especially for people who are new to Hylo. It's just been very heartwarming to see people showing up and the map becoming alive with the projects and legacy projects and subgroups and where the cross weaving and pollinating can happen. And so I just wanted to say that I'm grateful. You've done a wonderful job, all you organizers and developers, and I'm very encouraged about it. And it sounds like everyone here is doing a lot of really caring work in the world, both for humans, but also the more than humans and the lands and ecology we're all a part of. And I feel like Hylo is just becoming more and more of service to that. And I said, Kevin was in our group, who's one of the developers or team members, and I wish for our group to help contribute to the development and blossoming of Hylo. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope we can be a part of being of service to how this becomes more and more valuable bioregionally, ecologically, and also hopefully through good digital hygiene practices. So just thank you all. Love, gratitude, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you for sharing. That's so exciting. Kath, I see you have raised your hand. Go for it.
And I'm clapping. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Joe, that you speak into blossoming, because I wanted to be bold and share something very exciting that is happening with us in Vivero. And shout out, I don't see Todd anymore on the screen, but shout out to Todd and Midi, my co-stewards there. We are in this extremely exciting conscious practice, I want to call it, around acknowledging and recognizing multiple value flows within the community. And we call it the 8 value flower, and it is rooted in, I think, Appleseed permaculture's 8 capitals. And we moved it a bit into an understanding of value flows and wealth we build. And it excites me so much because just practicing this and speaking into the value we have received just from within a meeting, for instance, is so awareness expanding, and I guess prosperity expanding, and understanding how much value we actually hold beyond money, beyond financial value. And so I wanted to share this in all excitement, because it has been truly mind-blowing and perspective shaping for me. And I hope very soon, when we feel a bit more comfortable, we can bring it into many communities in Hylo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kath. That's awesome. So we're at T-2 minutes before launch or maybe return home. So we're going to do 2 things. One is a group photo, a family picture, like always, so that we can one day, 100 years from now or 10 years, look back at these moments where we've come together and have grown and supported each other on this incredible journey. So on a count of 3, if you don't have your camera on, please feel free to put it on for a second, and then I'm gonna snap a photo. So let's see, 3, okay. 2, let me just make sure there's no chat. Okay, 3, 1 second, one more. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And I don't know if Tibet, Claire, Krisha, if you have any final words as we close off, but I just want to thank each one of you for saying yes and for showing up today. It really matters, and we would love to see you again next month. And we're here if you have any questions or need anything. So Claire, Tibet, Krisha, any final words?
Just grateful and so inspired by all of you.
Echo that. Thank you all for being here, for creating this space.